Increasingly likely that Alexander Isak will remain a Newcastle United player this window.
Alexander Isak's Newcastle career over as Liverpool. Target won't play for club. Alexander Isak is adamant he will not play for Newcastle again as the Sweden striker looks to force through a British record transfer to Liverpool. The deadline. Alexander Isak reportedly views his Newcastle career over ease. As he looks to force through a move to Liverpool, the 25-year-old has made himself an outcast at St James Park after making it clear he wanted to leave the club to join the Reds in a potential British transfer record deal.
The club basically make the decision on his future.
Isak has since been frozen out of Eddie Howe's squad, and he didn't travel to Asia for the preseason tour. Newcastle remain firm on the position they've held all along that the Sweden international will only be allowed to leave for the right place. While they look for a possible replacement, Isak's perspective is that after being told last summer he would not be offered a new contract due to Newcastle's need to comply with football's financial rules, and him already under a lucrative contract until 2028, he made it clear it would be his last season on Tyneside. But even if Newcastle refused to sell the striker, Isak reportedly regards his career with the club as finished and has no desire to reintegrate with the squad. However, some at the club believe the forward planned to discuss the situation and possibly fresh terms. At the end of last season, Howe's side began their Premier League campaign against Aston Villa on Saturday. But Isak is not expected to feature. The Reds have until the September 1st deadline to sign Isak, or the striker faces a very awkward season. In the Northeast, Newcastle aren't under any financial pressure to sell Isak on the cheap, but the latest developments will give Liverpool renewed hope of signing the former Real Sociedad star. Liverpool first launched a bid worth up to £120 million, including add-ons, which was rejected. But an improved offer in the region of £150 million could tempt Newcastle to accept. Howe admitted that all the noise surrounding Isak has made it difficult to maintain team morale. He said, "I think the group has been disrupted, of course, but I think whenever you have a player in this situation, it's unsettling for the team. I don't think we've been in that position since I've been here. The harmony and togetherness of the group has been at its highest dot, so I think naturally it's just been a topic of conversation. It's been a distraction, and the biggest hit we've taken is we're not blessed with a number of players in his position. So I think you've seen a big gap, but I have to say, big credit to the players because they've got on with their work. Training has been of a really high level. I haven't seen a negative output on the pitch, but I have been aware of feeling around the group that there's something there that's not to the benefit of the group. Want to be on the ball with all of the latest Liverpool news? Well then subscribe to my YouTube channel, Liverpool Venture. From the latest transfer news to breaking stories, poor Alexander Isak faces Newcastle punishment as Liverpool target faces fresh attack. Alexander Isak continues to be linked with a British record move to Liverpool, but the Swede's behavior has brought mixed feelings from many of the Premier League's leading pundits. The ongoing saga of Alexander Isak's potential move from Newcastle United to Liverpool, which could set a new British transfer record, rumbles on. With the Sweden striker still keen on a switch to Anfield, understandably, many Toon Army fans are fuming after their star forward's summer antics aimed at forcing his departure. Since his arrival at St James Park in 2022 from Real Sociedad, Isak has been nothing short of sensational, helping the club secure 2 Champions League spots and establishing himself as one of the top strikers in global football. However, his standing among the Geordie faithful has taken a hit after he failed to join the preseason tour and was subsequently told to train alone. While some have shown understanding towards Isak's predicament and actions, the majority of pundits seem to be in agreement. As such, the Daily Star Sport has gathered the opinions of some of the most influential voices amidst the uncertainty over Isak's future in the Northeast, despite only netting 9 goals in 2 seasons at Sunderland. Ally McCoist is backing the Magpies in their handling of this sensitive issue. With 3 years remaining on Isak's contract, Newcastle are under no obligation to sell unless they receive a satisfactory bid, and McCoist reckons the player is merely reaping what he sowed after prematurely distancing himself from his teammates. McCoist told the Mirror, "I think he's acted poorly. Not all players, but some players and people forget that if you sign a contract, you are clearly happy with the contract. You can't sign a contract with the intention of doing well, throwing the toys out and demanding a move. You can't do that. If you sign a contract, then you have to say, I'm here for 3 years, 4 years, and that I'm going to honor that contract. You sign it because you're happy with it. I think he's been poor. You can't behave like that. The one set of supporters that won't let you away with it are Newcastle fans. It's hard to argue with them. Alan Pardew, criticism Alan Pardew, was named Premier League Manager of the season after guiding Newcastle back to Europe in 2012. The journeyman spent 4 years at the club's helm and had to deal with his fair share of drama, some of which was brought upon himself, while others may be inclined to take the money on offer and get in a replacement for Isak. Pardew sees no need. And many will agree with his verdict that Newcastle hold all the cards when it comes to their frontman's fate. Even if it means he's unhappy at St. James Park for a time, Pardew told Talkespio RT, the transfer to me looks like it can't be done, because Newcastle are going to dig their heels in now, and I think they are angry. I would also be, if I was on the Newcastle board, I would dig my heels in, so the fee could go really silly. The problem is, he's handled it so badly he couldn't have handled it any worse. His agents and advisors have told him to down tools after serving that great football club, and he's doing really bad things to hold them to ransom and more or less force a way out. Another pundit who thinks Isak should face consequences is Aston Villa striker Gabby Agbonlahor. The Villa Park legend knows a thing or two about handling outside interest, having experienced it himself during his Premier League glory days. The 38-year-old may be biased, as Newcastle are set to play against his former club, where he made 391 appearances in the opening week of the Premier League season. But even without this connection, Agbonlahor seems convinced that Isak needs to pay for the chaos he's caused during the summer transfer window. Talkespio RT presenter Natalie Sawyer suggested Isak has the challenge of earning the right to reclaim his place in the squad, to which Agbonlahor responded, and so he should, because it sets a bad example to other players. If he's straight back in and training like nothing's happened, he refused to go on tour with the team, which is wild. Walked out of training, went and trained with former employers Real Sociedad as well, so he should be punished. Shaun Wright-Phillips calls for respect. Shaun Wright-Phillips, the former Manchester City winger, is known for letting his actions speak louder than words, and he's now spoken out against Alexander Isak's recent conduct. Wright-Phillips always demonstrated commitment and dedication to his craft. However, when questioned about Isak's behavior, Wright-Phillips didn't mince words. He expressed his disapproval of the striker's refusal to participate in team duties and prioritizing his own desires. Wright-Phillips told aceodds.com, I think he's handled it very badly, because everyone knows you want out, but you should go and train. You're not affecting the club, you're affecting the players you've been to war with for the last 3 seasons. Have a little bit of respect for your teammates, turn up to train, and then go home. Everyone's been in a position in football where they don't want to be somewhere, but there's only some who don't show up for training, he continued. He's obviously been advised to do that because the person I've seen talk and be around in Newcastle doesn't seem like that's in his character. Liverpool's pursuit of Isak appears to have cooled down after their £120 million offer was rejected. This development seems to support Wright-Phillips' argument that prioritizing one's own interests can lead to negative consequences.